Hello there. I was asked in the comments if I would show, I don't know if I was asked or somebody said they were looking forward to seeing how I put the cover on. So I thought I would just show you what I'm doing. I have hand stitched some lace all around the edge on the inside here. That is just some lace off a doily I had. There's two different ones. That's one there and that's a different one there. That's just all hand stitched on. This is the cover piece here that will go on top. On this one I have just stitched two different tools. I have some pink tulle and some white tulle, and they're kind of just, you know, twisted like that, and then I've just haphazardly stitched. You can see, hopefully you can see, just a running stitch all the way around there, and that will go like that. So you see a bit from the outside, but you also see a bit from the inside underneath that crocheted edge. I've also pinned into place a piece of the cotton linen doily that was in the kit and a little bit of seam binding to add a bit of colour. I would have gone for the pink or the blue colour, but I don't have any in those colours anymore, so the next best thing is the green colour, because there are touches of green throughout the book. What else? Oh, one particular lady did ask, she was a bit confused how I'd put the signatures in, and I'm sorry that I didn't film putting those in. Anybody who's made a journal knows that that can be a bit fiddly at times, so I prefer not to film that part, and there are so many good tutorials on YouTube of the pamphlet stitch. But just to briefly tell that the lady, the 3 holes I punched, all I did, and I put the 3 holes in the cover as well, all I did was take the needle in from this side. You can see the ends of the thread there, and this is waxed linen. I went in this way, I came out through the middle, back through the top, out here, up, back through the middle again, up through the middle, down through the bottom here, up here, and then I tied both ends together here. Okay, so that's how I did it. But like I said, there are plenty of tutorials on YouTube showing you how to do the pamphlet stitch. You can do 3 holes, you can do 5 holes, you can do 7 holes. It's usually always an odd number. Okay, so I just thought I would explain those two things. And now I've hand stitched the lace onto that part, I've hand stitched the tulle onto this part, and I was just going to put it together, but somebody wanted to know how I was going to do that. Now, this is totally up to you. You could glue that together if you wanted. You could just glue it. You could start by gluing from this part here all around the edge and on the inside there as well, after you've secured the tie, of course. You don't glue, I'm not anyway, you don't glue the binding part there, otherwise it's not a hollow spine anymore. You only glue from this point over and all across the top, and the same on the back, from that point over, all on the back, and that's where you would glue. The same for stitching. If you're going to stitch it on, once you've secured your tie, of course, you just stitch all the way like that. You can flip it up, or the easiest way actually is to line it all up and stitch it here first, okay, and then you can flip it over and do the same there. Stitch it there first and then put that over and continue stitching around there and stitching around there as well. It's entirely up to you whether you want to stitch it or whether you want to glue it, whichever you want. They both look the same in the end, so it doesn't really matter. It's just your own personal preference. Honestly, glue and stitching, I mean, unless it's a hard glue, like if you're hot gluing, there is a little bit of difference. You might get some more stiffness to it, but that's okay. It's a book. It doesn't really matter. I did put that trim down the spine there with a bit of the pink tulle as well. What else? I put a bit of that there and a bit of that pink trim down there as well, and that's, I think, all that I did to finish it off. I've got the ties there, which of course look very long, don't they? I might have to shorten those a bit. I don't want them too long. Let's have a look. I haven't even tried them really. So I like the way the book sort of sits nice and flat too. Okay, well, maybe not. Maybe it needs that much because it's kind of a big book. And of course, that will be stitched down to there. Will I leave that doily on there? I may do. I think it looks quite cute. Not on the back, though. I'm not having one on the back. So that'll all sit like that. So that's how I'm going to do it. I'm not going to film doing that, though, because it does take a long time. And you know, you can probably hear my son in the background. He's got to go out today, so I've got to go and sort him out with that. And my husband's home today, so there's always interruptions. So I won't be filming that part of it. And I do apologize for not explaining how I inserted the little booklets inside in the first place. But that's it so far. Oh, and I'm going to make one more thing to go with it as well. So I'll see you when that's all done. Hello everybody. I finished the fabric doily, vintage doily book journal. I probably will change the name of it now that I'm finished. Anyway, this is how it's turned out. It is quite chunky, as you can see. I love the look of it though. I do love the look of it. I think it's lovely. That's the spine there. I ruffled the pink and the blue netting, and then I put a bit of this trim in there, and I've got a bit of pink tulle there as well. So that's the spine. The back is the same with just that little bit there, and I added a little bit of that trim down the side here. Oh, I also added some of this, I'm not sure if I showed you that, down that part there. So, oh, and a flower here as well. Now that's the cover, so you've seen that, and I've got some of the linen napkin and some seam binding for my closure. So all the cover is stitched on. I hope that's, I've got to try and make sure that you can see that in the camera. So I'm just going to flip through. There's the inside cover. This is our first signature, and I'll just let you look at the pages because you can see what I've done, I guess. There's some tags. It's decoupaged with tea paper, and that's some of the Kaisercraft paper. Some washi tape and ribbon. A few little flowers. I did put pops of brighter colours in here, just so it wasn't all the same. You know, it kind of wakes you up a little bit when you get to, oh, you go, oh, you know, because you weren't expecting it to be a bright colour. So, and I kind of like that idea. There's one of the butterflies that I used. I did glue the hearts down flat in the center there as well. And all these laces and trims are from Luscious Laces. Just two more decoupaged tags in there. There's a couple of those little flowers. Put a little bag in here with a collage. And I did put a safety pin with a bit of tulle, and I used some of the lovely beads that Michelle sent me. There's a couple of paper beads and a crystal on there. And I debated whether to leave that open as a pocket in the center there, and then at first I did, and then it was a bit too soft for a pocket. I guess if you wanted to make that a pocket, instead of using wadding, you could use stabilizing interfacing or something like that, just to make it a little bit more sturdy. But if you put anything in a fabric pocket there, it's got a chance of falling out, unless you tied it with a ribbon or something. But anyway, I closed it up. I've got a pocket, so I mean, this was a bit of an experiment doing the fabric book along with the journal inside, but I really enjoyed it, and I think it's a lovely way if you're one of these people who are used to making fabric books and you want to try a journal. This is how you can incorporate it. So you kind of, you know, you get to do everything, don't you? And I probably will make more of these because I really like the feel of it, you know. And it does lay quite nicely and flat. And that's because of the hollow spine that it helps it to lay flat. This ruffle here is actually one of these flowers taken apart. Another little one. Not too many pockets and tucks or tags. It's a writing journal. Another little bag on that one. And then we have a pocket here that we made, and I've just put a large journal tag in there, but there's room for more in there. And another little charm. Oh, and I love this little pom-pom trim. That's the last little bit I had, and that is also from Luscious Laces. And it just sort of sandwiches in there really nicely. That's Molly in the background. And our last signature. This one here was also sent to me by Michelle. Just another couple there. I've tried to keep them quite flat, you know, so you can actually write in here. Little bits. One more there. That's just a little envelope I found. I've been sent it. I don't know who sent that to me. Sorry, I've still got glue and I've probably got ink on my fingers too. So I've just popped that in there as well. And the last little bag at the back. And that's the back there. I did also make a writing board or a resting board, whatever you want to call it, so it can be tucked in to give you that extra, because it's such a, you know, a large book. Sometimes when you get in the middle here, you might want, you know, you might get impressions from other things, so you can just pop that in there rest on it and do your writing, and then you just, it's just made out of 3 index cards glued together, so it's really nice and sturdy. But you just, you know, pop it that way and write on it that way. I made it so that the actual little trim just sits on the edge of the page there, so it's not going to get in the way. And what I did with the back cover, instead of folding it up, I made that into a pocket so that just sits in there, out of the way, adds another little ruffle, and that's how it is. Now, I do need to mention one thing, and I think it's purely because the spine is made out of fabric. I know there's a bit of cardboard in there as well, but I think next time I will try something a little bit different. And the one thing is, see how there's a bit of movement in the signature? Oh, Molly. They're not going to come out or go anywhere. I think it's purely because the base is fabric, you know, and it allows for movement, but it's not going to come out. So that would be the only thing that I would probably have to mention about this book. I just really love, I love the way it looks. Look at that. It's so pretty. So very pretty, don't you think? And that does, you know, it ties together. It's not heavy either. It's not that heavy. It ties together like that really nicely. So yeah, apart from just that little bit of looseness, I'm very, very happy with the way this turned out. It was a lot of fun to make too. A lot of work in it, but just a lot of fun, because it was just like one big collage of paper, lace and doilies and fabric, and it's just, yeah, I really do like it a lot. So there we go, all finished. Thank you, Annette, for sending that kit for me. I really enjoyed it, like I said, and thank you so much for watching the videos. I hope you've all enjoyed them. Any questions at all, just put in the description box, in the comment section below. I know I haven't got to comments yet, but I have been reading them as they come through. But it takes quite a while to answer the comments, so hopefully I'll get that done over the weekend. And before I go, I do want to say happy 4th of July for all the American people out there. I hope you have a lovely celebration for your 4th of July. So take care, everybody, and thank you for watching. Bye.